So it was the first day of January this month, 2025, and I'm online. I'm not working, looking through some profiles and stuff. And man, one after the other, profile after profile, business people that I know, business people that I follow, the same music, the same voiceover, the same content. And you know what I think I don't like is content for content's sake. So what I'm going to be doing different in 2025 versus 2024, absolutely nothing. No businesses or company, marketing companies sending out content for me. Everything you see on this channel anywhere is natural from me. No weird quotes or anything, just the GTA housing market update as I see it and I know the market. So professional social media doing the same thing over and over again, not going to do it. So let's get into this. Happy New Year to everybody who watches this, and I appreciate you guys, all of you. Man, you're actually repeat clients or former clients of mine. You know I love you. I appreciate your time. This little ditty, winter's not for me, and actually has a double meaning. First of all, I don't like the cold, so there's that whole thing. And I think next week is going to be in the double digits negative for where we are in the GTA. Some of you watching this probably in the States and such, that might be different for you, but nonetheless. But the other reason winter is not for me is because regardless of the temperature, as long as there are no heavy snowstorms, the real estate market in the GTA is definitely going to be humming along. In fact, I'll be showing you some crazy stuff as to what's we're anticipating to happen. So in terms of winter, as in taking time off and watching the pretty snow outside, no. I'll be working, as will all the busy top producing realtors in the GTA. So welcome, folks, beautiful people, to the Essential GTA Housing Market Update here for the GTA. And going to cover some of the things that I'm sure you've seen on the news. I don't try to follow the news as much, but some of the things is important because it has an effect on the real estate housing market. So the BOC rate forecast for 2025, I think you'll find that interesting. Of course, our two best friends, Trump and Trudeau, both one leaving, one coming in. And of course, Q4 outselling Q3 and a market forecast for 2025. This actually will be interesting. And of course, because it's a video and I, certainly not hurting my feelings, you can skip forward to some of the parts that are more interesting to you. But this is important. And as always, I try to lay out a theme for what I'll be saying in terms of a little bit of a summary at the end of the video. So onwards. My intent, as always, guys, you can hit the QR code that takes you to my website or my real estate experience. All I want to do is provide valuable information to those of you who watch this channel, and those of you who are even thinking of entering the real estate market or looking to sell or buy, or just interested in what's actually happening. No political stuff, no specific leanings. It's always just value information for you specifically. Hit like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. I always appreciate it. I get nothing for it. I'm not that big of a deal on here. And as always, realtors included, reach out, guys. My contact information is at the bottom. Give me 15 minutes of your time if you're looking to buy or sell. I'll answer any questions you might have. Even if you don't use me, believe me, I'll still make it worth your while. Onward. So here's something interesting about the Bank of Canada. So here's a schedule, and of course, January 29th, we're going to have an announcement. I'm thinking probably no change, but there could be a 0.25% drop. We had a 0.5% drop in December, which is pretty significant. But I'll show you some other information, and then you can kind of think what you will. And of course, we've got several announcements, and I'll hear the more importantly, here's the forecast of what banks are saying in terms of the bank rate. So here's some quotes directly from different sources. One is Toronto Star, then one is Bloomberg. So economists generally think BOC is to make a 25-point cut in its January policy meeting. So that's a possibility. Following BOC's December cut, BMO projected the overnight rate hitting 2.5% by mid-2025. You're noticing a pattern here. It's downwards, not upwards, in terms of interest rates. CIBC and Desjardins Group both expect overnight rate to drop to 2.25% by the end of 2025. The point being, everybody, regardless of the situation in terms of news and the world, in terms of the real estate market, and certainly in terms of the interest rates in Canada, the slope is downward. Have a look here. This is interesting. This is what you'll find interesting. Notice the big banks. And Scotia, I believe, Scotia is the one that's kind of most conservative at thinking that we'll end up around 3. So still a drop of 0.25 by the end of 2025. But most of the other ones, they're in the 2.25% to 2.5%. And I personally am thinking that we'll probably end the year, 2025, somewhere in the mid-2s. 2.5 probably is my guess. But again, you guess what you will, but these are the numbers. Interestingly, these clearly people or banks who know what's going on. And so why I'm mentioning interest rates, why should you care, is what's the effect that's going to have on the housing market. And so moving right along. The other things that are affecting not only interest rates but markets in general is, of course, tariffs or rumors of tariffs. I'm sure you guys heard about that on the news. And what effect is that going to have on the market? In general, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, these tariffs, if they get implemented, will still lead to more rate cuts because we're going to need the economy to keep moving along. At least that's what most of the sources that I speak to are thinking. Of course, Trudeau's exit is going to have an effect on the immigration policies coming up. All those immigration policies that we're going to do, all the people coming into the country, some of the housing policies and the house building policies that the Liberal government was going to put in, some of those might be a little bit. So there's going to be some question marks here. So at least in the more of the long-term effect. But what about 2025? Because honestly, if you're watching this video, you're watching so far, you're caring about the market currently right now. So here's the thing. This is the Toronto Star business section. So Trump's tariff threat could drive interest rates even lower in 2025. And that's, for the most part, is what I'm seeing. So in terms of interest rates coming down, interest rates coming down means a busier market, quite often slowly increasing prices of real estate in the GTA. So see, there's another article. The outlook could go out the window if Trump follows through. So what is it? We'll likely have to take rates even lower than they expected. So whatever one may think of the tariffs coming in or not coming in, or maybe it's just a kind of a threat made by the incoming president of the United States, overall, most people are thinking, and I'm certainly thinking, the interest rates will continue to come down. Slower or faster, depends on what you think. But regardless, the direction is downward, and you're sensing a theme here as I'm telling you these things. Even global central banks, this is now going global, they're tiptoeing, but the rate cuts are still there. And while they might not be as aggressive as they initially thought, they're still thinking of dropping just 72 basis points in 2025. That's the world. But the point is, and what I'm trying to show here, improving is so you're not just thinking my opinion for it, interest rates on a downward slide. And here's what's going to happen in the forecast in terms of some big names, Korea, Royal LePage, Remax, what they're thinking. Some have sales and prices. Some are just talking about prices here. So Korea thinks sales will go up by 9.9%, and prices up to about 2.4%. Royal LePage didn't mention sales volume specifically. Undoubtedly, it's going to be higher than last year, but prices up about 5%. Remax 5% increase in price. RBC sales up, TD, heavens, sales up 22%, prices up 6.4%. So as you're seeing this, what are you seeing? We've already talked about the interest rates coming down slowly. What are major groups who know the market, are in the market, many of these, what are they thinking in terms of what's going to happen in the market? And upwards, up in price, some higher, some lower. Personally, I think probably 4 or 5% by the end of the year. I think on average, certainly in the GTA. Sales-wise, I'm thinking about 20% increase, give or take. We were about 68,000 sales last year. This year, I'm thinking maybe low 80s. Nothing crazy, nothing like the over 120,000 plus we had in 2021, which was the record year in terms of volume. But certainly it's going to be a busy year in real estate, and who knows, it could get even busier. What's happening in our market specifically? This is actually important to give you a feel, because if you're watching this, if you actually Googled this, then you're probably thinking of maybe doing something in the near future, especially if you're selling. So here's what's been happening. Yes, things were a little bit slow last summer in 2024, but into about mid-September to the end of December, Treb sold around 18,600 properties, and during that same time in 2023, which wasn't the busiest year, admittedly, still they sold around 15,400. So that's an increase. That's an increase of about 20%, give or take. So that's significant. So things really started picking up, and not everyone noticed it. And again, some markets like the condos don't see the effect as much as others. Also, inventory. Here's what was pretty crazy. We had record high in the summer of 24 last year. It was incredibly record 26,000 plus active listings on the market. And so inventory right now in January of 25 is now about 40% lower than September. So all that inventory did sell, or most of the inventory did sell. Some came off the market because it's holidays and such. But the point is, now we're in January. Inventory is still certainly higher than some of the record lows we've had in the past, but overall decent, maybe a little on the higher side. And sales are significantly higher than they were in end of 23 and the beginning of 24 a year ago. So what do you expect for the market to be doing? This is why I mentioned the information, the interest rate cuts, inevitable interest rate cuts. What's happening in the world overall with the tariffs and everything else, and with what's been happening in the market right now. One reason I mention this is there are the odd person still that thinking the market's still going to come down in price, something's going to happen, the bubble's going to burst, and those kind of things. And while that may happen in some very specific areas, for the most part, and I've been saying this for a long time, guys, the market is not bursting, the market is not going to collapse. What's going to happen is it's going to pick up, and the prices will as well. Not only I think that, but in the previous slide that I showed, all those other groups, Remax, Royal LePage, and Korea, what they're thinking is going to happen, exactly what I'm saying now. So here's what's actually in the market. Let me move myself. Average price down just slightly. In essence, price and homes sold in December, last month we have information for, barely changed. So basically, it's been the same. So the busier months, obviously, if we're up 20% in sales, and our December was the same, obviously it was October and November, the 2 months that really pushed us up in terms of sales overall. And of course, weather and temperature has something to do with that. Notice on the left side here, you have the two circles. The active listings is a biggie. In December of 24, we had 15,000 listings. Right now, in mid-January, we have about the same number, closer to 16,000 active listings. So a little on the medium to high side as far as January, certainly not low. So it's not a crazy seller's market. Don't think that. However, sales are happening and prices are maintaining. Interestingly, even with a slow year overall, the prices had maintained. Days on market is the most interesting part here, I think. Days on market, if you see on the left, property days on market is 56. December of 23, not a fast month necessarily, although it was picking up, was 49. So it's 56, almost 2 months. Almost 2 months is the average. Average, keep that in mind, the word average, is what the average property days on market is. So why am I mentioning that is we see what's happening with interest rates. We see what's going to happen with the market overall. If you're a buyer in the GTA, you need to really, really get on it because already your window of opportunity is smaller than it was before. But looking at this, with this high days on market, you can take advantage while you can. And believe me, buyers in the GTA need to take advantage when they can because your windows of opportunity are always significantly lower than that of sellers. And on a month-to-month basis, December versus November of last year, interest, of course, active listings went down significantly because it is December. People come off the market or they sell. So that's very, very normal. So the idea here, normal, but picking up, and window of opportunity for buyers is shrinking. So here's a quick summary. Buyers or those thinking of buying, what you really need to know. First, know the market is going to get less and less buyer friendly. That's a fact. Don't let anyone fool you. With the caveat being condos. What about condos? Well, the condo market is still stagnant. So for condos, for the buyers of condos, the market's going to be more buyer friendly for quite a while because the inventory is high. Overall, there's going to be more and more inventory hitting the market as well. And not only that, but there's also the idea that there's a lot of assignments, new condos that are going to be hitting the market on top of the resale ones. So that's an exception. That's a caveat. Anything else, believe me, your window opportunity is shrinking. No, what you have to know about the numbers. You have to know about financing, down payment, deposit, the whole bit. The sellers are going to get more and more firm on price. You can't have long conditions. You can't come in maybe sort of hopefully getting a price. Listen, sellers understand that the market is heading in their direction, in their advantage. And they're not going to be dealing with low numbers. You need to know your numbers up front, ready to roll so you can make a good, solid offer without any waffling as to what the price might be. And here's something you should do. Take advantage of the opportunities when they come. This is one of them. If you're thinking condos, believe me, you should be getting into the market sometime in the first quarter of this year. If you're buying a home or anything, as soon as possible. As long as the house is there, obviously it's not a dire thing that you have to do the next 10 seconds. But you really need to take advantage. I've been saying this for the past few months. Guys, it does not last long. So if anything else, you're not sure, you still kind of believe me, maybe you have a specific area, give me a call. My information is always at the bottom of the video. You can always reach me and I'll tell you whether your area of interest is one of those that's going to be very, very short on availability. So sellers, something you need to know. The market is already active. It may pick up earlier. You need to know this. So it may pick up earlier than normal. Usually wait for March, April. Listen, you might not want to do that because there may be nothing available in your area. You should take advantage of the fact you have no competition. If weather is good, there's always a caveat. So if there's a huge snowstorm or something, obviously it's going to slow down. Some people are not going to be wanting to show homes or see homes. That's always a big thing. So the other aspect that the sellers need to know, you need to know that this market is no benefit to you whatsoever unless you have a plan in place for the next steps. It does not matter how well you sell your home or how low you sell your home. If you're desperate, you want to get rid of it because you want to move on to the next thing. If you're buying in a good market and selling in a good market, obviously you're going to win. You have to know these things. If you don't have a plan, you're just going, I'm just going to go after we sell, we figure something out. Listen to me. It's not a good idea. Talk to me. Give me 15 minutes of your time. I'll figure out what the next steps should be or could be, and then you'll have a lot better idea as to what you should be doing and if you should be doing anything at all. Plan early and interview realtors. See if they have a plan just like you're supposed to. I just talked about having a plan. You have to do this. I've been interviewed several times already. I got 2 interviews coming up next week, at least so far. Probably more coming up. Here's why. You need to find people that know what they're doing. First of all, let them be optimistic. Let them actually know something about the market, but also make sure they market their property. Ask them where they market, what kind of marketing they do. Do they actually spend money on advertisements and these kind of things? Do they actually have any kind of social media presence? Are they actually advertising on social media? What are they doing in terms of good old-fashioned elbow grease? Are they out in the neighborhood talking to your neighbors? Are they out going through the database, seeing if anyone's interested in the kind of property that you're looking to sell? You need proactive people. So please, if you don't know, if you get a buddy or a cousin or something, tell them, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, but let me interview because my wife, whatever. Listen, you need to interview people. Make sure you get the right person for the job. I'm happy doing there. Throw my hat in the ring. So as always, guys, Andrew the Realtor. That's the end of the update. The market is definitely picking up. Certain areas are still lagging behind, like condos. If you have questions, listen. My intent is to provide valuable information straight from the street. I'm on the market, in the market regularly. I know what I'm talking about. You have questions, contact me. I'm happy to chat with people, help you out if you're in a tough spot, whatever it is. Contact the link below. Give me a shout. Give me 15 minutes of your time. I'll talk to you. And guys, I appreciate your time. Happy New Year. I hope you're enjoying this January. I'll see you in February.